Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Sound check.
We're going to start. It is now 9:01, and we're going to start our Board of Trustees Workshop meeting for Tuesday, March 31st, 2026, 9 a.m. First, we have our invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Please bow your heads. Lord, our Father in heaven, we come to you today. We give you all praise and thanksgiving. We thank you for another glorious day here in Florida. We thank you for all the blessings you bestow on us in this park. Lord, we ask that you send your Holy Spirit. Well, first, Lord, we also thank you for your Son, sending us your Son. This week we celebrate Holy Week, and this coming Sunday is Easter. We celebrate the passion, death, resurrection, glorious resurrection of your Son. Lord, we just ask that we give you our hearts this week in preparation for Good Friday and then Easter Sunday. We also ask that you send us your Holy Spirit, that your Holy Spirit guide us in our discussions today, that the board works together, that our public opens their ears and understands where we're coming from, and that the board does the same. We open our hearts to do what's best for this community. Lord, we only have a few meetings left. We ask that you continue to guide us. We pray all this to our Father in heaven. In Jesus' name, amen. Let's say our Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. And to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, we have our roll call.
Good morning, everyone. Chairperson Sean Slattery.
Present.
First Vice Chair Bob Bachman.
Present.
Second Vice Chair Rick Haggard.
Present.
Treasurer Don LeMaster.
Present.
Secretary Deb Burns. Here. Assistant Secretary Jackie Mitchell. Here. Trustee Tim Celo. Here. Trustee Joni Anderson. Here. Trustee George Clinch.
Present.
Sergeant at Arms Rick Weber. District Manager Vicki Lawrence. Present.
Thank you, Deb. Next, we have our report from our District Manager, Vicki.
Good morning, Holiday Park trustees and residents. I'd like to wish everyone a happy Easter, and I hope you enjoy this holiday with your family and friends. Also, I want to note that the lift arms at the gate, if they are damaged or they're not functioning, you should call the office during the business hours or contact one of the trained trustees, and those trustees are Tim, George, Rick, Bob, or Deb. Hope you don't mind. And I really appreciate, they have really helped so much with after hours and keeping those lift arms back in place when they do get knocked off. And we do hope that begins to minimize more and more. Also, we do not want you to attempt to reposition or repair the lift arms yourself, as they do go on to the bracket in a certain way. So we don't want to cause further damage to the common ground, the lift arms, or to someone's property themselves. Our maintenance staff is currently painting new lines to better guide vehicles on where to stop before the lift arms and at the call box. Please remember, and I went through there this morning, it looks like they're pretty much finished, but they are continuing to work on those those types of things to help our residents and guests coming into the park, have more ease and hopefully not damage the gates or the lift arms. Please remember that the entry and exit gates are designated for vehicles only. A separate gate is located at the front entrance for bicycles and pedestrians to ensure safe access. The trustees will be discussing potential improvements at today's meeting, including upgrading the front gate for easier access and possibly installing installing a dedicated bicycle and pedestrian gate at the rear of the park. Last week, Northport Trees completed the tree trimming and removal of dead trees as approved by the previous regular trustee meeting. I would also like to thank the residents who are taking pride in maintaining their properties. Your efforts help keep our community looking its best. I will continue working with residents who need to address items such as weeds, overgrowth, and mold or mildew on their homes. A report on property inspections and any violations that are open will be presented at upcoming trustee meeting. As many of you prepare to leave for the season, please ensure you have designated a property caretaker and notify the office with their information. Also, be sure to secure or store any outdoor items that could become hazardous during storms. A leaving for the season checklist is available in the lobby on the wall near the office. Safe travels to those heading back to your northern homes. For our full-time residents, I look forward to working together this summer to continue making Holiday Park a wonderful place to live. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki. Next is our chairperson's report. I was struggling with my computer this morning and could not get mine printed, so I'm winging it for today. I had a couple items. First, we have a long agenda today, and I'm going to try to move us along as quickly as possible. However, we have a lot of items that I expect that we're going to have much discussion on. Therefore, I'm asking that our Sergeant at Arms stop us at every 50 minutes for a short 5-minute break so that everyone can refresh themselves and we can get back into it. Secondly, I'm going to ask that the board I'd like to make a change to our agenda, and I'm asking the board to allow us to move discussion item 9B, or NB9, the pavilion structure and concrete bids, and the discussion of the pavilion electrical RFP, just to the end of the list today, because I expect the most discussion to be on those two topics, and I want to make sure that we can get through the items that will be quicker before we all are brain dead from the discussion. Hopefully we're not, but I think it's going to be a long discussion possibly based on the information that we received. And that's it for me. Thank you. If the board is okay with that, I'd like to do that. Is the board okay with moving those two items to the end? All right, thank you. Next item is our trustee reports. I'm just gonna, any trustee, I would like to just go down the line, I guess. Do you have anything, George? Any comments?
Not at this time.
Okay. Joni?
I'll go at the end.
Okay. Rick?
I do. We've been working on call-in capabilities for meetings should the need come up. Kim's done an excellent job. It's so simple, even a trustee can do it. So that, and we are having some issues with the computer, so we may have to discuss that sometime soon.
All right, thank you. Deb?
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay. Bob?
Nothing.
Jackie?
The one thing I have to say is that I don't know if everyone is aware, but Cheryl G. in the office is leaving at the end of the week. She's got some personal areas that she needs to address. So if you get a chance, stop by and bid her farewell, and certainly thank her for her service over the last few years. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Tim? Don? All right. Resident comments. Are there any resident comments concerning our agenda items this morning? Nothing being done. We're going to move on. We have no old business. We're moving right into new business. The first item of our new business is I would like to change the fine committee liaison from George Clinch to Bob Bachman. George, if you weren't here at our organizational meeting, I had assigned out the roles, the jobs, and I had changed the liaison to our ARC from Bob to Jackie, and so Bob had no role. And George has graciously given up one of his roles.
Very willingly.
And I tried to convince Bob that he could take over the personnel, not the personnel, but the regulations and rules,
You're trying to get rid of those.
all that fun stuff, and he did not want that. I don't know why. But anyways, I just want to thank George, and I want to thank Bob for taking on that role. So that's number one. Number two is our fine committee application. By the way, board, this is a change that the chairperson can make, so we don't have to have a vote on this. So this becomes effective as of today. So the fine committee, we have, if we're not mentioning names again, we have one application, I believe, for the fine committee, and does anyone have any discussion points they want to make on this? Or do we just agree that this is okay and we will bring it up and vote on it at our regular meeting? Everyone okay? All right. Thank you. So that one will be moved forward to our regular meeting. The next item is our ACC committee application. This is a person that has been serving on the committee as a backup, and now they want to, because of opening, they want to make it more official. And anyone have anything, any comments on this? Okay, this one will also move forward to the next regular meeting for a vote. Next item we have is our workshop, our trustee workshop and regular meeting dates schedule for the 2026-2027 season. The only things I would bring your attention to would be that for our board workshop meetings, the 11/24 meeting is during Thanksgiving week, and the 12/22 meeting is during Christmas week.
Excellent news.
Yeah, it's 12/22. Yeah, 12/22 would be the Tuesday, right, of Christmas week. So, other than that, we are following pretty much our normal schedule. Well, this is our normal schedule. That's where the days fall if we follow our normal schedule. Does anyone have any issue with those? If you know you're going to be absent on any of those, now would be a good time to mention that. I, for one, know that of 2 dates that I will be missing this next season. I will be missing the 12/22. That is a workshop. That week I will be gone, or that I will be coming back that day, but I will miss the meeting because it's in the morning. And then I will also be missing the 2/11/2027 regular meeting. Again, I will be gone that week. Any other comments from anyone?
I have one. I will be missing the last meeting of the year. It's way more important that we go home, as my wife's parent, her mother is quite elderly, and we need to be home for that. So I will miss the last meeting of this year.
Are we talking this year or next year?
This year.
This year. Okay, so it has nothing to do with this, but you're letting us know that our 5/7 meeting this year, you will not be attending. So Vicki, if you could make note of that.
I expect to be gone on 2/11 as well. It's Shirley's birthday, so.
Okay.
Wait a second.
It's her big birthday.
Okay.
I won't put it in the notes.
All right. Yes, thank you. I think is that it? Does everyone want to move? Yes.
I have a question on the 5/13/2027. Why have we moved? Normally we've had it the first Tuesday, May.
Yes. And the reason I pushed it out
Okay.
is because I always thought that we were really scrambling with that meeting
Okay,
to meet that
Well-
deadline. And this falls on the normal.
yes.
And that's why I changed it. Now, if the board wants to change it back, we can, but that's the reason, because every year it seems like we are really scrambling because it's been moved up ahead a week.
The
they don't-
reason being, we always done it for Ken Judd, because he was always leaving, but I'm just questioning, make sure it was,
Okay.
okay, no problem.
And if we have, a person that has to leave, I guess we'll deal with that, but, yeah. I would like to leave it like this, just to give us
Alrighty.
the time. All right, so this will be moved ahead. I will make the change on, the 12/22/2026. I will put Christmas week next to that.
Okay.
For the schedule here when it comes
Alrighty.
back to you. I just missed that. I think that's the only change to this document, and this will be coming back for a vote at our next meeting. Okay, the next item is the, what we send to our, the schedule we send to the newspaper. That just gives you an idea of what will be sent, formally sent. Is there any discussion on that? This is what we did last year. And we're trying, so basically last year we tried to solidify the format of what we're going to be sending every year.
Yes.
Okay, being no discussion on that, that will come back for a vote. All right. The next item we have is item number 6, NB6. This is our proposed budget for the 2026-2027 year, and I'm going to let someone else talk instead of me for a while here. So, Don, would you want to
Alrighty.
take us through this?
Yes, I will. As we are leaving the assessments the same again this year, we don't feel a need to increase them. As you're going down the payroll, the salaries and wages of maintenance has increased from 218 to 232. Salaries and wages administration has went down from 2059 to 191.44. Reason being, Vicki didn't take as much salary increase as Carmela. So I'd like to thank her for that. The group insurance, the only one that we had to take up was our workman's comp. We had to go.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Don, but I'm getting lost here. So would you just hit the line item number when you're talking about?
All right, we just hit the line items, no problem.
No, I'm not saying just, I mean, say it, mention the line item.
Oh, I'm
number
sorry, I'm
when you're
sorry.
talking about any of the.
Because I was
line
talking
items.
about the payroll
Okay, as a whole.
as a whole.
Okay.
Payroll went up a little bit, maybe $98. Coming down to insurance, we took the health insurance down somewhat. The only big jump was the workman's comp. We had to take that up to $17,000. Property.
Can I ask why that jumps?
This was on Gary's Chapman's advice. He is an insurance person that.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you. So this was just on advice from our committee. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
This was on advice. The property package stayed the same.
Don, we have 2 more possible buildings coming.
That we understand that, but we talked about that in our meeting. And in the finance meeting, and we decided that we were still under last year. We only spent 58, don't quote me, but I think around 58. So we have money left if it would go up somewhat, okay?
Can I add,
Yeah.
can I add to that real quick? And we also did speak and have in writing, that we've had this discussion with our insurance agent with Aegis, that with the upgrades to the gates and the pavilion structure that we're putting in, and the men's club storage building, that those are going to be, well, one is already being added, which is our gates upgrade. It affects our insurance very, very little. And then, of course, the pavilion, and
Right.
it's still to be voted on, but they do have the information and what our plans are.
Yes. And our general liability, under insurance, general liability, we took that down to 12,000. Our truck insurance stayed the same. Our overall insurance stayed the same as last year, 166,500. Building inspector security stayed the same. Under office expense accounts, we went down about $600. Under telephone, internet, and reimbursement package, we went up about $1,300. Under repairs and maintenance, we did take the Phase 2 building back up to 20,000. Possibly we may have to buy a new air conditioner. The only new one we added, we went ahead and added a pavilion maintenance column. We put $1,000 in there so that we would have it just in case for next year. Our total repair and maintenance is $101,300. We went down about $17,000 there. Lawn care remains the same. Our automobile expenses, we left those the same.
Fuel.
On recreational supplies, we went up about $1,000. We did take the room 6 because we had lowered it to 3,000. We took it back up to 4 because the park is responsible for the first $4,000 of anything coming out of room 6. After that, ARC would take over paying. Under utilities, we went up maybe about $800 on our utilities. Our total expenses, total operating expenses is $1,223,018. On the back, our capital, our bond payment remains the same throughout the bond, $161,272. Project account, $350.
I have a question. I'm sorry.
Yes.
You're moving along nicely here, but I'm still back. Under utilities, our recreation hall, number 1, we went up on that. Is that because, why is that? Is that because that costs more? This is utilities, so it's costing us more for that building than it is for the, oh, that's this building. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
that's this building.
And
It is
and
going
it's
to cost us more because we do have everything in this building.
Okay.
Sean,
And is the 14,000 for the recreation hall too, is that pretty close to what we're spending?
yes,
Okay.
very close.
All right, thank you.
We decided we needed to go up on the recreational hall on the utilities
And some of that is anticipation of the pavilion and what type of,
because,
where that power is going to
Okay.
feed.
All right.
thank you, Vicki. Is everybody fine up till now? All right, then as I said, our bond payment remains the same. We're putting $350,000 in the capital projects. In the reserve account, we went up a little bit because our expenses went down. We went up to $238,810. Road repairs, $51,000. So a total assessment will be $2,024,100, the same as last year.
Thank you, Don. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question. Don, where do we see where the CDs are on this?
They're not on, that is in our reserve account. The total.
All 3 of them?
All 3 come out of the reserve account, Jackie.
They show up on the balance sheet.
On the balance sheet. They would
Okay.
not show up on the budget because that's already earned money that we're investing.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
So this just shows our operational budget is the main point of this
Yes.
for the next year.
Any other questions from any other trustees?
Our CDs for the reserve account are basically for just reserves, is that what you're saying?
Yes, road reserve, basically,
Okay.
because we did just renew our first CD, and we have now 378,000. Come on. We have, just a minute, $378,700.11 in our first CD we took out, which we took out for $350. So we've earned $28,700.11 on that CD in the last year and a half.
Okay, anything else? Okay, we're going to move forward with our projects list. I'll also call your attention to the sheet that Don passed out, the project account, where he shows us, we had at the last meeting, we were talking at 140,000, almost 141,000. We subtracted almost 13,000 from that for Sarasota Electric, and now we're sitting around 128,000 in that account. If you look at what I did, just for the discussion, to help us in our discussion today on where we're going to spend this money, I added the 50,000 for the landscaping that we're going to be discussing later. It might not be all that 50, but that's what the estimate was. And I said electrical power, I bumped it up to 13, rounded it up a little bit just to make it easier for these numbers. And then the summit quote was 131, which we've already agreed to. We have Archer, which we're going to talk about. That's number 4. We have a possibility I pulled over from the medium term, the phase 2 AC replacement, which was 16,000 as a possibility. And then the phase 1 pool commercial furniture replacement, which was another 20. This is just for our discussions because they were on the medium term and they were the next items there, that if we want to move them ahead and pay for them this year and get them going. The one I didn't pull forward was the phase 1 and phase 2 pool lights, because that needs work. Obviously, we need to have somebody come in and take a look at that. And we don't have the electrical over for phase 2 yet, so I was thinking it would be nice to have the electrical upgraded over there before we did the phase 2 pool. And again, we need some legwork before we can get that done. So I think based on the amount of time we have left in this season, we don't really have time to do that. So I left it on the medium to be discussed at the beginning of next year. So that was my thinking in doing this. I'm opening up for discussions now.
On the medium list, Summit, location 10, do we have a number for that, Vicki?
For which number?
10, that's the one that was off their quote. Have they come back in?
Oops, sorry.
Summit had missed number 10, remember the
Oh,
description?
they have not.
Okay,
They have not
thank you.
submitted that price, sorry.
So we still have that to go on
I was
here.
looking for the item number.
Okay, so that's on number 1 for the medium term. We need to add costs of number 10. Site. All right.
They should be firming up the schedule, Rick, for us to meet with a kickoff meeting, and then they were going to come out and look at that, the number 10 spot.
So if you look at our money, so we had 128 here. If we were to subtract the 50,000 for the landscaping, which we're going to talk about, and then the 16,000 and the 20,000 for the AC unit and the phase 2 furniture, we still have 42,000. That's if we went that route. And then that 42,000 could then pay for the Archer, whatever. We're going to talk about that later. I haven't really seen the cost of that. I think it was 11, something like that.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
correct.
around 11. So there's money there for that also. So open for comments.
Well, they're on the list, so let's get them done.
Anyone else? Anyone opposed to what's listed here and want it changed in some way?
I had received some comments on the pool furniture, that maybe we should be looking at replacing that after hurricane season, since a lot of our pool furniture was damaged during, so they were talking timing-wise. They love the idea of new pool furniture, but they said maybe that should be considered later.
Can I respond to that?
Oh, you bet.
Okay. My feedback on that is that whenever we do have or in hurricane season and we have a threat of a hurricane or severe storms, we actually put all that furniture up. So it doesn't stay out in the weather, so it's not going to be damaged because of that, unless it's something so unexpected that we didn't have time to do it.
Any other comments? If you are agreeable to this, the only change I would make to this for our regular meeting would be to add in the Archer quote for that work, and then we would have a new balance, and then we would just carry that balance over to next year for our projects. All right, we're going to move on with that update. We have our kitchen, our new refrigerator purchase. Who would like to talk through that?
Mike, would you like to speak on the refrigerators? I can go over what's on the paper, but okay. So we have, it's been requested that our new refrigerator be purchased for the kitchen, and it's going to replace an existing refrigerator, the one that we have on the end to my left. And however, we are going to keep that refrigerator and move it to another spot in the kitchen. So with that, the Men's Club and ARC have gone in together and split the cost of the proposed refrigerators that we have on the list. It's the same brand, the same type of refrigerator. It's a larger capacity, comparable to the other two that we have in the kitchen. Mike Bisson submitted 3 comparative bids for this refrigerator. He can get into any of the details of the specs. So the one, and I believe you all have the corrected version with the notes on it. So the first one, which is from Katome Restaurant Supply, this one is a total of $7,092.70. That price does include the rack that is that they need to have in the refrigerator, for the different trays and everything that they have. And then also the one that price that we received from Restaurant Supply is a total of $7,532.67. Like I said, it also includes the rack. Restaurant Store is, say that again?
What's that price on that one again? Because it's different on my sheet.
So you should have received the updated.
Yeah, I think it's in the packet that we were given some.
You should have received the updated that's written in. Initially, we did not realize that the other two, one includes the rack and the pricing, and the other two did not. So we had to add the pricing.
I think you were gonna hand that out when we talked to Steve.
No, it may have been put in their box, but it was added to the packet. I didn't bring that in with me.
Yeah, I checked the boxes this morning. There was nothing in our boxes. I don't think everyone got that. I got this because I talked to you last night.
Okay.
So I think we need a copy of this made for everyone.
Okay.
We're going to take a short break right here so that everyone gets this updated.
Okay, hold on just a second. Only take a second.
If anyone needs to get up, and this will be our 50-minute, or 5-minute break at 50. So instead it's a half hour, and we'll start over after this. So take a break now if you need one. Yeah, she gave me this last night when I came and talked to her, and I thought she was going to hand them out within this. Yeah.
No, no, 50, 5-0.
50. I'm like you,
5-0.
Rick. I thought 50. Look at that for 15 minutes.
5-0, 5-0.
Sorry, 5-0. Okay.
Oh, you got a new rack?
Inside, it goes inside so they can hold your trays.
Oh, it holds the trays.
Yeah.
The size the trays we need.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they've done now. Monster.
Yes. And I would, yes, it would come out of our operational budget. She would have to find somewhere to, yes. Some upgraded. Okay. Ah, fun.
I know.
I think the long ones are gonna be
Yeah.
this one's gonna be a discussion,
Thank you.
and, the pedestrian bike, I don't think that will be that long, but it might. And then, of course,
Yeah.
this is gonna be
Yeah.
long,
Yep.
because there's gonna be a lot of,
True. I gotta get another bottle of water.
I think Toby's gonna be upset, possibly.
Tim, what do you say? Tim, do I sign up for the city with that? Like under Parks and Rec or something?
I think it's Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, Chamber of Commerce?
Better hurry up. Maybe Sean wants to get a
You
partnership,
guys should play.
What are we talking about?
a fundraiser for the
Fundraiser.
high school pickleball tournament out at Island.
Oh.
All for fun.
You guys should play.
If
But
someone,
there is a $300 first prize.
yeah, but how much is the donation?
$35
$35.
apiece.
35 apiece to
Yeah.
get in?
And if we should win, Miss Burns, I'm gonna donate my half winnings back.
How much do we get? Who wins?
300.
300.
I want a new golf cart.
So I'm gonna make you look bad.
You can donate it to me.
Let's just say the chances of you winning.
Beat your butt, didn't I?
Yes, you did. It was your partner that did it, though.
When did you beat
Who's my
him?
partner?
Teasing.
I can't remember my partner.
Do tell. I haven't heard that story.
Yeah, Roy. Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna check it out, Deb. But you know what? We gotta get over there and play. You're trying to get me out to the tennis. You're trying to get me out to the tennis.
I wouldn't mind getting the, what's wrong?
Yeah. I'd rather go to.
So I can call on you when I'm ready to go, huh?
I'm available.
I'm going to Fort Myers though at 3:00. I'm just kidding. I don't know what time. I don't know what time my flight should be. You won't even be here. July.
Some of the women over there, you know.
Gonna go up. July 15th.
That's a good time to go.
Oh, I know. I've been there before.
You taking all of that?
What?
You taking all of that?
Sure.
the 15th of July to the 30th of August.
Oh, my.
That don't sound like bear hunt season now. Yep. I'm gonna go fishing. Fishing.
Yes. You handed me one out.
you, I know I've given some out. Yeah, I had the real thing with me too.
Oh, my, we got the real thing. Ooh,
I didn't get that one.
just I'm right there with you, Bob. Yeah,
I think I got it, honey, in my pocket.
whichever you
passed
want.
this out too? Okay, good. All right.
I got it in my pocket.
Okay, I probably have one too.
Yeah. I think that's, yeah. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, no, I got that in my pocket.
Okay.
No, sh-
Okay, we have our information now, so we're going to call the meeting back to order.
My apologies for that.
Yeah, it's 9:42. So now you have it in front of you, and Vicki, I guess I'll let you start.
Okay, so where we left off at is, well, I'll just go back over the bids. The first bid, Catome Restaurant Supply, includes the rack. All of these pricing now includes the rack, $7,092.70. Restaurant Supply, $7,532.67. Restaurant Store is $7,532.68. We will also, if we were to go with Catome Restaurant Supply as also the lowest bidder, is when we call in the order, they will give us an additional discount. I believe, might confirm, I believe that's 10%. 3%, okay. So $170, I think you had told me. And I believe that's the direction that Mike was going to recommend as well. He can speak for himself, though, if he'd like. So I'd like to open up for any questions regarding specifications and things of that nature. I have called in Sarasota Electrical. They were here on Friday afternoon. They looked at where we were going to put the new refrigerator and move the other refrigerator, which will require the old refrigerator. When we move it, will require an additional electrical outlet. And we do have room in our panel and have the power supply to add that electrical outlet for the movement of the other refrigerator. I'm waiting for that price. I have not received it from them as of this morning.
Okay, and when we get that price, that will also be included in what's being covered, right?
From what I don't know what the price will be. If somebody has Mike, or if there's any other electrical residents here that might have an idea, but I know that Men's Club and ARC approved a total of $8,000.
So that leaves us 1,000, a little over 1,000 then, once we purchase the refrigerator.
Yeah.
So that's probably going to cover that.
I would say, yeah.
Okay, so
Vicky forgot to mention that it also includes 2 outlets on the wall where the carts are, because the kitchen help wanted them for their utensils that they use.
yeah.
That'll be probably under the operational budget, because this is not part of the refrigerator.
Okay.
But yes, you're correct.
Vicki, exactly where are they moving this new refrigerator? I mean, the old one.
It is going to be to the left and back wall of where it is currently.
Oh,
if
you're
you're-
moving it right straight across and from.
Around the
No,
corner,
no,
basically.
to the left, and then all the way to the back wall here, this wall right here.
Oh, this wall. Okay. All right.
Ping pong tables are stored.
Okay, any other questions? Being none,
Ernie
everyone,
has a question.
okay.
Ernie Mitchell, 6403 Hykena. Just the only question I had, I must have missed it, since this wasn't in the original budget for this year. Could it be considered the monies to come out of the project funds for this year, since it's a surplus?
Men's Club and ARC is paying for it.
Okay, great. Thank
They're
you.
out of their
I
budget.
must have missed it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I couldn't understand you, Ernie. Sorry.
Okay.
Hello?
So we will be bringing this forward and just the top one to vote on.
Yes.
I have one question. When we move this other refrigerator, the older one, are we going to take out a general maintenance fund to repair the gasket that keeps coming off? Has that been discussed?
The fact that there's an issue with the gasket has been discussed. I know that we have had to replace it prior, but not in the manner in which we're going to continue to service that refrigerator.
Okay.
So I don't have an answer at this time. I know that when I spoke with with Tanner, our maintenance supervisor, it's just continuing to have to, whether that's internally or having a company come out to make that repair as it's needed.
Okay. Any other questions on that one or comments? Let me move on here. We moved, that was number 8. We're moving 9 and 10 to the end. So the next one is number 11, our Phase 2 landscaping and pool furniture estimates,
Well, let me get there.
project list.
Okay, so for the Phase 2 pool furniture, you should be seeing an overview of the furniture that we're looking at replacing. Basically, it's going to be one for one of what we currently have at the Phase 2 pool. We are looking, and we'll go into some of the selections that the board will be able to review and see which one that they prefer. But the pool furniture that we're looking at, just so you know, it is still an aluminum base frame, which is a standard commercial pool furniture type material because it's rust resistant, it's more durable. But however, we are moving away from the straps that we currently have on the furniture, and I am proposing that we go into what they call a sling fabric. It is very durable. It has long warranty, 20-year warranty in most cases. It also works well in the sun as far as fading, and it's easier to replace. Our maintenance staff can replace the sling fabric. We can order it, we would replace it ourselves instead of the cumbersome straps that we sometimes have to have replaced professionally. So that is some of the advantages that we're looking at. So for overview, we have 3 different companies. I have actually gone to their site and looked at their showroom floor and looked at their different furniture selections. The first one is Alumatech. They are also a manufacturer of pool furniture, which will probably be understandably so based on their pricing. So they don't have, they're not an end distributor, they are manufacturing. And then Florida Patio and Furniture, these are both located in Sarasota, Bradenton area. They are local to the area pool furniture companies, as well as Indigo Pool Furniture. They are actually located in Venice, and they are a distributor of pool furniture. So that's where you'll see the difference in the pricing as well. We are looking at replacing 33 chase loungers, 22 patio chairs, 4 round tables, 1 rectangle table, and 5 side tables that could be used alongside some of the loungers. And there is a small delivery fee. You'll see a total for Alumatech, our lowest bidder, is $20,709.38. Florida Patio, closely behind them at $23,983.90. And Indigo at $38,983.90. $963. And I do have the materials that they're made out of. I also have some of the color selections and the fabric, so you do have in your packet a copy of these selections, but this will let you actually kind of touch, feel, see what the selections are that I'm recommending that we make as far as color choices. So if you want to pass this around and or look at it, after the meeting, you're welcome to, or during breaks.
How would you like to do this?
I got a quick question on it, though. I'm looking at Indigo's paper, and I'm seeing two different things
Sure.
highlighted in yellow, and then I'm seeing the price on the sheet is different.
Sure, I can explain that. The first highlighted is price that you see is the one that is shown on the summary that you have in your packet. However, the second price that you see on that estimate, which I think is around $46,000, that is a selection of a chair that is. It's a heavier duty chair. It is very costly, as you can see. It is just to add just for that chair to replace the other chair. The main difference, Tanner actually went with me for these pool furniture visits that we did so that he could look at all of this furniture from a structural point of view and input, as well as future maintenance. And so one of the big differences he saw and could appreciate with the chair that you're seeing in the Indigo pool pool furniture estimate, that is the one that is on the lower part of the estimate, is the fact that it's all welded in one piece together. There are no screws, if you will, that is holding the weight of a person. So that is the main difference, and where he thought that chair had a particular value, even though the other chairs, which is across the board in these estimates, are your standard and what we have currently, other than just an upgraded commercial version of it.
So Vicki, what is your recommendation? Which of the three are you recommending? And then maybe after that, you could tell us which, where you're going, because this is laid out, all three. We have materials for all three.
Yes.
So if we could focus on maybe the one that you're looking at and why, and then we could look at the material just for that one.
Okay. As much as I love some of the differences with Indigo Pool and Patio, for the difference in the price, I just don't recommend that we go that direction. We're not cutting ourselves short by going with a different company with a less price bid. They are, in their comparison, they are the same furniture, the same quality, outside of that one chair. So I recommend that we go straight to the manufacturer and get the best pricing that we can get instead of a distributor, and that that you move forward in looking at a Lumitech manufacturing.
So Lumitech is the lowest bid.
Yes.
Okay, with that, can we talk about the materials that they're?
Yes, so the material, and I'd be glad to pass this around, or if you want to look at it between breaks, the materials, and I don't know how, I would love for, and during the breaks, anyone that's in attendance, please feel free to come up and look at this as well. So the material that I'm recommending is what they call a sling fabric. It is an outdoor fabric. Probably many of you are familiar with it if you maybe have a Chase Lounge at home or something that has a fabric, that outdoor. It's not quite vinyl, it has more of a, I'm not sure what you would call it, but it has a vinyl in it, but it's not vinyl. So that is the choice, or what I'm recommending as a fabric. I know many people, you don't have to raise your hand, but many people can appreciate the fabric, I believe, over the straps. After sitting on those straps for lengths of time, They sag. They're lovely when you get up and you've got strap marks all over your legs. And this also maintenance-wise is going to not mildew in the way that those leather or vinyl straps do. They're going to be easier to clean and maintain. So I have some color choices. We go, a selection of staying very neutral with some creams and tans, or we can go a little brighter and go with a brighter teal and a pattern. So I would recommend doing a pattern on the loungers because they're out in the sun. So in years to come, as this material may fade, you're going to see that less in a pattern than you would just a plain fabric. And then the plain fabric choice, color choice, would be on the chairs. They tend to sit under cover a lot more than the loungers do. And then we have your frame is some color choices. I would recommend going with a kind of white creamy looking, and either you could do a silver or a tan. So these are some of the choices, color choices, and I'll let you look at it. And you really have to, you have three. You can go a little darker, you can go very neutral, or you can go a little brighter. Okay, so you can take your vote.
Okay, so as far as the color choices, boy, I don't know. That's not in my wheelhouse at all. So I don't know how the board wants to handle that. Do you want to allow Vicky to get input from the residents? If you want to just let Vicky do it, pick that on herself and the office, or you want to have input into it? I need input from you as a board because that's not in my wheelhouse. I don't know how to handle that, just that
Sean,
part of it.
I would say just let Vicky and the office staff take care of the coloring. Well, you can help, Debbie,
I have been going to the pools and bringing these colors out and just getting some input. And so far, I've gotten the color.
Yes.
Okay, so Joni, does anyone else have a strong feeling of? I like the fact that we allow Vicky, but get input from our residents at the pools first, and then go with that. What we're going to be approving is the cost of it,
Yeah, exactly.
which is we will bring Illumitech. If the board is okay with this, we'll bring that one back for a vote at our next meeting, and maybe at that meeting, Vicky will have the input from and just tell us what was decided as far as the color scheme.
Okay.
Is everyone okay with that?
Yes.
Jackie, any opinions there? You're thinking?
I believe we do need to have the resident input, because if we don't, then we'll get some backlash, I'm sure. Vicky's done a fine job checking these out, and she's seen the product, and I think she can answer the questions of the residents if they have any.
Okay. Here's a thought going forward. Whatever we choose for the color scheme of Phase 2 pool, which is what we're voting on here, is what will be happening. Do we want to do the same color scheme at Phase 1, or do we want to do something different in Phase 1? That's another thing that maybe Vicky can get a handle on.
I recommend the same to keep it, consistent.
Yes.
And not, one like one better than the other, or any of those types of.
Therefore, you should get input from people at Phase 1 and Phase 2 at the pools.
Okay.
So
I think as trustees, we can also take some of the input within our realm of being able to answer any questions.
yes,
Yes.
that's a good point, Bob. And maybe you can put this color scheme out at the window here and allow people that come up to the window to
Yes.
make a vote.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, the one thing that is not included in here, and I would like some input that's just come up recently, is whether we should add any type of umbrellas or not. I did not add them in there because umbrella is just another thing that will fly away.
Exactly.
And But I, don't want to make that decision myself.
If I remember right, in the past, they have bought umbrellas and they didn't last. So I don't. After Ian, they did put up, I think, a couple umbrellas and they were gone, the wind. Also, I wanted to bring up one other thing. We do have, if we would start running shorter on the project account, there is still $6,000 for pool furniture in our operating account.
Okay. Okay. Anything else from the board? So we will bring forward the Illumitech bid for vote and get some recommendation from Vicki on the color scheme at our regular meeting.
And then we would look at, proposing to the board on the existing pool furniture that we're replacing at Phase 2 pool, and if we move forward with the Phase 1 pool, is that we would open up that to sell for the residents initially at, a really good price that, we can recommend to the board that we proceed with. And then anything that remains, we could either look at donating that to the men's club, or we could sell it on the Facebook marketplace as a whole, open to other residents outside of the park.
Okay. I guess one question I have that just came up based on that would be, what would be the time frame of this? If we vote on it at our next meeting, which is our April 9th.
It is a
regular meeting.
6-week delivery time frame.
Okay.
Oh, and the other we could do with the pool furniture, if there's any remaining or they're not in the condition that we would like to sell, then we could take the straps off and then take those to scrap and get some money back on it based on whatever the rate is for aluminum at that time.
Excuse me? In the past, we've taken surplus, anything surplus from the park and taken bids on it, I believe is how they did it. When we had golf carts and we had furniture, other things that were no longer needed for the park operation, and opened it up for the residents to put bids on. And I'm not sure if there isn't maybe a policy or something
There is.
somewhere. Yeah.
There is a policy. We have done silent bidding in the past.
But, and I do understand that, but can we see a resident purchasing 33 lounge chairs, or are we going to do bids for individual? What if somebody just wants one?
I have a comment on that.
And I'll look into that.
We have done things like that, the bid situation for residents, and they seem to stick around. And I know at one time they were stored in the maintenance shed and the helping hand shed forever. And I just don't see that working well.
Well, I think we should review our policy.
Yes.
Exactly.
So let's review the policy. Vicki will do that. And if, Vicki, you could, and I know you have nothing to do, but if you could bring that to our April 9th meeting and maybe give us what the policy says, and that will dictate, obviously, how we go forward. But with you having that in mind, maybe what our options are going forward with the equipment or with these chairs. That would be great, so that we can sort of make a decision, because what's going to happen is most of this is going to happen over the summer, right? We're going to order the chairs. They're going to be here in 6 weeks. A lot of people will be gone. Probably 2/3 of the park will be leaving. And so even if we were to open it up for bids and things for people, a lot of people will already be gone. So that would have to wait until the fall anyway. So taking everything into consideration, we need to maybe have an idea of what are our options. Thank
Okay.
you.
I will.
Okay, let me look. Next item on our list here is our, 12.
You want to
No,
do the land?
landscaping from 11.
Oh, yeah, still on 11, but we're doing landscaping now.
Yes.
So for the Phase 2 landscaping project, which also includes the fountains, off of Tuscola. I do have a couple of additions that you should have received for your packet. One would be the estimate for Craig's Perfect Turf. That one had been updated, but the revised one was not included in your packet. It is correct on the summary page. And then also, you should also have received the landscaping layout so that you can visually see where we're doing the landscaping and what type of landscaping that we're doing in those areas. My apologies that that is not on the screen, but it will be here after or during breaks if you'd like to see that yourself. So we have, for the landscaping project for phase 2, we have 3 different contractors: Fine Design, Murdoch Stone, Craig's Perfect Turf. So this is our layout that is being proposed, is that we are going to add 32 cubic yards of 1.5-inch tan river rock. And if you look at your diagram, you're going to see where it says at the top, this is at the phase 2 building map. You're going to see tan river rock is in red, so it's going to go all everywhere around the phase 2 building, wherever there is landscaping currently, where there is, maybe there's some mulch or maybe there's nothing at all, that is all going to have river rock, which is what we have here at the phase 1 building and coming down through the middle up to the phase 1 building. We're also putting river rock in that front section in the round circle in front of the phase 2 building, where just right in the front where the golf cart parking is, where all those trees and landscaping are. There's going to be river rock there. And then there's a small section as you come off of Polina, into the parking lot of the building that has a small section where there will be river rock in that area. We will also be adding river rock in the area of the phase 2 pool. There is an area inside the pool that has some rocks and things. I don't know. I didn't even realize that until I had really gone over there and looked at it. And there's just nothing there. So we're definitely going to be adding some river rock there and around the phase 2 where the ceramic building and the bathrooms are and all that landscaping will be river rock. And I'm just going to stay with the phase 2 area for right now. And then in your green areas on your diagram, those are where we're going to be installing different types of plants and areas that it's just kind of an area that has nothing's, there at all, and just to kind of fill it in. So it's not a lot of plants. As you can see, our budget is $2,200 for plants overall. And so some of the plants, working with Dave, our groundskeeper, is, and some of these I don't even know how to say them. So, and on the phase 2 building, on the far side of the building facing, or to the left side of the building if you're facing it, there are some bushes there. We're going to put in some more of those around the building. I've been told by Dave that they're called variegated Scheffera arboricola. How is that? And so we're going to expand those to in that part of the building, in that area, to just to make it more even throughout the building. We were going to add it on also on the side of where the library is, but as you may have seen recently, that is where our main water line is, and we did not know that. It had a minor leak. It has been taken care of and addressed by Pied Piper and our maintenance staff. We are now, we had to pull that bush out, which is the same type that's on the other side of the building. So we had to pull that out because the roots had grown all around that main water line. So we had to pull it out and remove everything from there and not put anything ever back there. And we will have a fence that will look nice, but that will keep that from, anyone in the future wanting to put any type of landscaping in that area, to keep it free and clear. And then we have.
On
go ahead.
that, would it make sense to put on the wall there of the building? Is it close to the building where it was dug out? Is that tree?
Yes.
My thought is
Yes.
put a sign there that says water line, so that.
Absolutely.
it's
I'll look and see
clear
if
that
there's something already been put over there,
Okay.
but yes. And that is a great idea. Because no one knew, and it's probably been buried 4 years. Okay, and then there is another another area that we're going to be adding. Oh, there is, I don't know if you have you guys seen when that other plant that I was just speaking of, it actually will bloom, and so there's flowers that will be on it, but it always stays green. So it's a really good, and it can get, you can maintain that to be smaller or taller. I think these are pretty tall right now, and they look really nice. But we also, over behind the pool, the Phase 2 pool, we want to add a date palm to match the other one. There's one that is already there, and we just want to put it on the other side. So that is the majority of the plants in the Phase 2 area that we're speaking of. And if we go over to the next diagram, this is where we have the pavilion, or excuse me, not the pavilion, the gazebo, and the landscaping where it goes to the memorial bricks, as well as the 2 fountain areas. So where the 2 fountain areas are in red is where you'll see that we're just going to add some more crushed white shell to freshen that up, and just clean it up if, we need to get any, I think we've done pretty good about keeping the weeds and all out, but we'll spray wherever we need to. And then in your kind of teal blue color is in our estimate, we currently have it for black rubber mulch, which is what's currently in those areas where you have landscaping in the where the fountains are. But I'd like to make another proposal that was put out there, that sometimes the black rubber mulch can kind of, it's pretty light. It can fly away in wind and weather. So that was brought to my attention, prior to the meeting. So I've made some adjustment. I did go get called one of the companies this morning to get some ready pricing to replace that. And so what I am recommending in replacing the black rubber mulch, which would still keep us in that $1,400 range, is to put in the black salt and pepper granite. So we'll keep the rubber mulch in there. We're just going to add this black salt and pepper granite on top of it, and spread that out and cover the black. And if there's any showing through, it will still look nice with that salt and pepper granite type rock. And then we would also, and we'll do that same thing over where the gazebo is, as well as the walkway where there are plants there in that area. Then we'll be adding any areas in the fountains. We're going to be adding plants of what we currently have there. There are some that have died that don't look great, and we just need to get them replaced. There's only a few of them that we need to do at in the fountain area. So overall, with the river rock, the white crushed shell, some delivery charges, replacing the black rubber mulch at the same price that I received this morning based on how much we're going to need, and keeping it in that same $1,400 range, as well as plants. And then we have a 1-week tractor rental from Home Depot, because we will do this internally with our staff, with our maintenance and groundskeeper staff, all on board if we need to. And hopefully much earlier instead of August or July, so it'll be not as hot. So the total that we've received from 3 landscaping companies is Fine Design. It came in at a total of $7,160 for their part. The total with the the granite and the plants and the tractor rental is $11,960. For Murdoch Stone, the total, including everything that I just mentioned, is $12,594. Craig's Perfect Turf came in at a total of $13,185.60.
Okay, and is there a recommendation here, or are we just looking at the lowest bid?
I would say the lowest bid. I do not have any personal, and I don't know that we've had any experience in the park with fine design. But they're local and they do a lot of commercial and residential business.
Okay, any comments, discussion points from the board?
Vicki, did we look at the horseshoe landscaping there?
Thank you, we did, and I did not lay that out. It's not on my map. Thank you, but that is included. Thank you for
good.
bringing that up.
Excellent.
That is included.
Thank you.
Okay.
So really, all we're paying for here is the material, and our guys are taking care of it.
That is correct.
Who did the Center Island before? Was that,
Murdoch Stone is who we got the River Rock from last summer.
and you have no problem with this low bid? You feel as though they're a decent company?
Yeah, everything that I have checked out about them and their references and looking at their website and speaking, with the representatives that I've spoken with. Like I said, I don't have any personal experience, but, we are talking about materials. And they're all going to be the same at the end of the day as far as River Rock's River Rock.
Yes, because it's all being delivered, so I mean, we're not asking them to install anything, so you're just purchasing
Exactly.
their material.
Yeah, the difference between, Fine Design and Murdoch Stone is only $634. So they're very close.
They are very close. And like I said, we've used Murdoch Stone, but, prior. They're, highly reputable in the area. So I am fine either way.
Well, it's just a question of, do we want to go with someone we've worked with in the past for that price difference, or work with
Yeah.
someone new?
Completely.
So that's what the board, I'd like some feedback from the board.
But again, it's just supplies, material, we're doing the work.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I'd say
what's the consensus? Go with the lowest bid? Is that what I'm
I'd
hearing?
say, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Okay,
That's what will be coming back to you for a vote.
all righty.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Next item is NB12, General Rules and Regulations, the gate fines and fees discussion. So you have it in front of you. Vicki and I worked on this together to try to figure out what we would do, how we could change our general rules and regulations to put something in there specifically for our gate arms. Now that we have them and we've seen, what's been happening to them over the last month and a half. So what we have here is we've just included the pages that changed. So we didn't include and kill trees. So what we have is we added an item Z, and it goes over into a second page here. So we say gate entry exit system. Any individual operating a vehicle, golf cart, bicycle, or similar conveyance who bumps, strikes, or otherwise damages any entry or exit gate, gate arm, or related access control equipment within the park shall be held responsible for such damage. Item 2 says the driver shall be liable for all associated repair costs. In the event the damage renders the gate or gate arm irreparable, The driver or the driver's insurance carrier shall be responsible for the full cost of replacement, including materials, labor, and any related service expenses. At a minimum, the driver will, this is number 3, at a minimum, the driver will be subject to fines and fees through the park's established fining process. So the idea here is if it is significant damage, then we're going to go either at the driver's insurance carrier, as we did with the gates when they were not, when they were damaged, or the driver themselves for that repair costs, replacement costs. If it happens that it's not significant damage, but as you can see, they are being damaged.
Yes.
They've been hit over and over again. They're looking pretty crummy right now. At a minimum, they would be subject to fines and fees, which going through our fining process that we have established. And we will also talk about a change to that fining process for this on our next item. I'm opening for any discussion on what we have here. Notice also above the Z that under item number A3, no, that's not A3. I don't know what it was. I guess it was what comes before W. Yeah. V. So item V, number 2, since it's not on the sheet here, but V2, it shows that we're making an update to the resolution. It was resolution 2025-4, I believe, and now or 5, I mean. It was 2025-5. We're making a new resolution to replace that, which we'll be talking about in a moment, and that will be resolution 2026-01. And that's part of the fining process.
Okay.
So with those 2 changes, does anyone have any comments or anyone see anything they would like to change in the wording of this?
I think it's a good start.
Yeah.
Because in research that I've done about it, you can be held liable for property damage if you don't report it, and it could get costly.
Okay, any other comments? So we will be bringing this back for vote at the next regular meeting.
Okay.
With that, we're moving on to number 13, which is the change that I just mentioned. Resolution 2026-01 will replace Resolution 2025-05. And the only change to that, there's 2 changes. If you turn on page 2, first, we had to make a change to number 8 because of our change to the assumption of risk waiver and release of liability. We said we were not going to require that to be signed by every owner, so we have to take out that owner language in number 8. So we've removed that. So now it's failure of non-owner occupants, renters, and guests to sign the assumption of risk waiver and release of liability in the district office before using any district facilities or participate in any of the district activities. And that goes along with our general rules and regulations A and E. So that changed there. And then the addition is number 19. Any person operating a vehicle, golf cart, bicycle, or similar, who hits or damages any entry, exit, gate arm, or access equipment is responsible for the damage. The driver is liable for all repair costs. If the damage is beyond repair, the driver or their insurance must cover full replacement costs, including materials and labor. At a minimum, the driver will be subject to fines and fees under the park's fining process, which in this case is $100, and that would go through the fining committee for that to be assessed. So it would have to come to the board first. The board would approve it. It would then go to the fine committee. They would make sure that it meets their requirements and assess the fee. Any questions about this?
Yes, I have one. How much does it cost to replace the arm?
The arm itself is $426, and then, of course, the labor to install, as well as there's materials associated that we have to keep in stock that are not cheap, which are the nylon nuts that they have to have. They are required, and they have to be those specific ones for them to, well, and they're, because when they break away, they strip. Not all the time, but most time. And then there's washers. So there is some other associated costs, but definitely $426 for the lift arm itself.
I don't understand how we can just fine them $100 when in fact it's costing us $426 if they don't pay for the arm replacement.
Well, we can only fine $100 a day, and this is a one-time occurrence. So we can only fine, based on our own rules through our House Bill 1855, $100. But saying that, if the damage is considerable, we can then go at them and get them to pay it directly or through their car insurance. So we do have an option of getting the full cost if it's damaged, like I said, irreparable.
That's my concern.
And
So-
I would also say that as you're collecting these $100 fines as they go through the fine board and the fine committee, is that money begins, because not every time that the lift arm is hit does it do major damage where it has to be replaced with a new lift arm. So that becomes a pool of money that when it's time to bring in or to replace a lift arm, that you can have those in inventory, and you'll have the money that's been used that you've collected through the fine process as
So
well.
that should be a budget item that we add to our budget maybe for the future, and start collecting that money in that for operating costs.
So I do have a question that I would like to ask the board, is that when we have, where it's not a resident, or even maybe a guest of a resident, but it's a contractor or a vendor, and they damage, and typically when they damage, they're in larger vehicles, they're in utility trucks, and they do major damage. That's where the bar gets bent, the caps are coming off, and they look really bad. Are we able to go outside of this, which is to the residents, as I understand, and bill them appropriately for the cost of the damage that's been incurred?
Absolutely. I don't see any reason why not.
Yes, because all our vendors are licensed and insured. So that's part of the contract that we have with them, is that if they do damage in the park, I can speak for the lawn care. I mean, that's part of our contract, so yes.
Yes. I have sent invoices to the 3 companies that has hit and caused damage to the lift arms at the full value plus an administrative labor charge to install them.
Okay, thank you. We have a comment here from her.
Just have one question and then a comment.
Can you, again, Ernie?
I say I just have one question.
No, I meant say your name.
Oh, I'm sorry.
all that.
Ernie Mitchell, 6403 Ikena Boulevard.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I just have one question and a comment. Lord knows I don't want anything punitive in this park for anybody if it's an accident. But Vicki, I've heard incidentally that some people don't even report that they've actually hit the darn things. My own opinion is that it's okay to fine them $100 for hitting it. That's fine. But there ought to be a punitive, another $100 for someone that you have to chase down to get them responsible. So if there was wording in there for punitive damage, that if they don't report it, this encourages them to report it and not allow us to have to chase them down or whatever. They should be reporting it when it happens. Is that correct?
Well, we do have language, and the board can give comment on this, but our policy says it's $100 per day. So if it takes days to get a hold of them, then maybe that covers us. I don't know. But it should be, you're right, there should, but we can't put language in here. The best we have is $100 a day for any fine.
No, I'm okay with $100 a day, but I think you ought to emphasize, I can't read it, so I can't read if it says $100 a day or whatever in the language. But if you could reinforce that to everybody in the new language, that if you don't report it, you're going to be liable for $100 a day fine.
Okay. We can certainly do that. I'm just wondering if we can do it.
That's the next.
What happens if you can't chase the person down? I mean, because it is, in some cases, they may not even be they may be a guest and they're not even registered. And you have to, we're getting pretty good, I believe, at communicating as soon as we know that the damage has been done, that it's getting reported, whoever finds that out, so that we can at least look at the cameras and see what we can see.
You guys think it's good enough? That's fine with me.
It's a question we can definitely ask. This document here, if the board approves the language we have, I'm going to send it again back to our attorney to have them review it and make sure that they're okay with it, because they also file it once it's approved. So I'd like to get their input before we ask them to go ahead and file the new resolution. So that's where we're at. I can certainly add something. Vicki and I can figure out something that says, it's subject, specify. I mean, it already says on page 1 that each of these violations will incur a per day fine of $100 and can accumulate up to $1,000 for 10-day period. So that's on the very front of the resolution. So we can ask if under what we currently have counts as if we can document that we're trying to, because we'll have video evidence, right? We do have video evidence when people knock into it and knock it off. And we also know, because people are getting called to replace that, put it back up, that's happened. So after we have established this policy, we can therefore start reviewing that video evidence. And if we cannot find out who has done it, they haven't come forward, maybe we have the right to start assessing that $100 per day. I will ask that to our attorney.
Another question you might ask them, is about the law that the personal property damage to not even report it. It is a law. Just make sure that it is true.
Okay. All right. Between Vicki and I, we'll make sure that we ask these questions to the attorney. Okay, so we will be bringing this one back also, and maybe with some updated language, depending on what we get our feedback. So that leaves us with number 14, our back gate pedestrian bike installation and upgrade.
Time for a break.
And okay, it's time for a break. Let's take another break.
Thank you.
5-minute break. We'll be getting back together at 10:40.
No, that clock's never been reset. This one up here is right.
Yeah.
I guess I need to put another.
I've got a hole in my mouth.
No. I'll just put it in another work order.
Yeah, already texted. I thought it was until, and I don't know if there's a reason that it continues or if it's just. Yeah, because I thought they had already, on the last meeting, I thought they had already. Lord, first suggestion.
I spent so much time in school this year.
If I had had this patent sooner, I would have asked them. I know.
I haven't either.
I know.
Fish, like, it was like, you see.
Went up there with Jennifer and Connie and Kathy and Al when he was here. We went up there for a little while one afternoon, but I didn't pay attention to the furniture. I haven't been in at all.
Well, it's like the thing with the CDs, you know, I thought I'd see it on there, but now I understand why it's the on.
Restaurant. Which they.
I don't.
Okay. This is not. I would go for this one. I would only go.
Now you did it.
Oh, we made out because we.
You're breaking, you're breaking.
I haven't heard of it. I don't know what it was. No. Because that was supposed to be the first place. People ran on it, ran everybody. My doctor, my parents, like Yellowstone. I'm all for that. That way we can tell if you're a resident or not. I look so serious. Why not? Rick and I just came up with a real good idea. We're gonna brand all residents, then we can tell for sure if you're just like yellow. There you go. Don't like yellow. Yeah. Hi, Deb. Yes, yes.
Okay, good.
We'll be there.
Good.
We miss having the world.
All right, good. And I got you guys clear.
You think so, huh?
Finally, something and then I said, you know, it doesn't go year round. It does. As soon as I said that, it's 2 in a row now.
I'll go after.
Well, do you have a key? Do you have your keys with you? I don't. It turned up.
I use one in the office.
Let me go get it.
Oh, let her suffer. Gee. Yes, that's last time I got it. It did okay, but it was hard to get it out.
That's when I have to send.
Yeah, but I'll be over there too. And when I get done, I will fill the hole.
Actually, I should, gotta go to the restaurant. Where's that? Oh, here it is. So in person, so you can see how much different that looks in person. And then when you look at that's the colors. So it would be that blue. See how much different it looks in person. Yeah. Yeah, it's not as dark green as what it looks like over there, but that's still my favorite.
10:40, and I'd like to call to order the meeting. So everyone get back to your seats, please. I want to make a comment to the board first before we get started. When we have a break, please turn off your mics because the side conversations are being heard by people that are watching. So keep that in mind when you're talking close to your mic. Turn them off, please. Okay. We're going to move on to number 14, our back gate pedestrian bike installation and upgrade for the front pedestrian bike for easier access. We have an estimate here that Vicki will talk us through.
Okay, with the current setup that we have, which is really what we've had all along, even with our swing, the swing gates that we've always had or had for years, they work with a loop detector in the pavement on the exit gates. So those loop detectors were never meant, nor do they, maybe on an occasion with the right type of bicycle, but they were never meant to pick up bicycles going across those loop arms. They only detect based on metal mass. And bicycles, and sometimes some of these bicycles are made of carbon, like a carbon type material, so they're not going to detect them at all. So that's why you're starting to see, I just have a couple of temporary signs at the exit gate specifically for no bikes. So there's a real need for us to look at upgrading our current front gate pedestrian and bicycle gate that we currently have installed for easier access. I understand that when you're on a bicycle, you may not always want to have to get off the bicycle, prop it up, go up to the gate, put your proximity card, or maybe use your MyQ app, which you can use now at the pedestrian gate. And that also, you're having to, depending on if you're entering or exiting, the gate is opening in a way that you can't get close to it, so you have to move back some. So I know it's not always as easily accessible specifically on a bicycle, or maybe even a wheelchair or scooter of some sort. So our gate contractor, Archer Gates, has provided in the estimate to upgrade our existing pedestrian gate, which would make it ADA compliant. It would include furnishing and installing a gate operator that will have a safety beam. So once you hit that safety beam, the gate will open up for you, and work in a similar way, as what we have with the exit gates now. It's just going to work on a beam instead of in the ground type loop detector, or having to put your proximity card up to it. And then also there will be a MyQ keypad reader on the post away from that moving gate, so that you can use your MyQ to gain the access when you're coming back into the park. And there will also be an exit button on a post away from the moving gate. So that is just to get all the access away from the gate itself, which would allow the opening and closing at a distance. So it's not going to be spring-loaded in a way it's going to close on you, or you're having to keep it open while you're moving a bike through it, or you're walking or a wheelchair through that. So the cost that's being proposed in this estimate for the front pedestrian bicycle gate is $4,700 with all of that included. And then for the back gate, to install a back gate, a pedestrian bicycle back gate, as we don't have one currently, that would be, you would of course have to install a new gate itself with the hinges, and that would have to match the current fence style that is already in place. And then that will also include furnishing and installing a new gate operator specifically, for pedestrian bicycle gate, and it will have the same type of safety beam and the MyQ keypad reader that's going to be on the post. Same type of setup. It's going to be away from the gate. There will also be an exit button on the post away from the gate, and that new gate is being proposed to be on the entry side of the driveway, because you got to choose one side or the other, and there was an electrical consideration, so that cost component to get it closer to where they have access to electrical components and things of that nature. And that total cost is $6,300. So the total to upgrade front and install back pedestrian gates is $11,000.
On the back gate, there is no sidewalk or bicycle lane back there, so it really wouldn't matter which side, correct?
That for that purpose, it does not matter. The main reason that it would matter which side is the access to the to power.
Right, okay.
And since there is no, are we talking about, are they putting in a walkway also to the gate on this side? I don't see that here.
That is not, we would have to get that outside of, we would have to get someone that does the concrete outside of that. I can speak with them about it. We talked about it. He just didn't put it into this estimate. It's not something that they typically do.
Okay, so here you have it. That is something that we would have to do. We do have money in our project list to cover this. This would be covered by the project funds. And we would have to have someone come in and do the walkway from the road, obviously, over to the gate itself. And we could have a separate bid on that. And maybe someone could handle that.
Yes.
So we have someone doing that work for us, that kind of work. So anyways, that's outside of this. Today, we're talking about just the gates and upgrade. And does anyone have any comments about this or any questions?
Yeah, Sean, I think logistic-wise, as far as appearance and area of clear vision, do it on the incoming side would be more feasible than the outgoing, because the outgoing, you got bushes and everything else right there. Where inside, as you're coming in, you've got a lot more clearance and visibility.
Should we just start with the front gate first and look at usage? Because since you're going out the back gate, there's no sidewalks or bike trail out there. I guess my preference would be try it on the front gate and see and track how much it's actually used.
I can answer that.
Okay.
There is a number of people that go out the back gate currently, and right now they're trying to get through the gate by getting the lift arms to go up and the gate to open, and they have to ride around. So there's people that use the recreational park on the other side, and we have a number of people that go out on bike trips each week throughout the season, and they like to go out that side also sometimes in order to get to wherever they're going. So I think we do have a number of people that would use it already.
Yeah, I got a couple, Sean. Number one, is that 4 foot going to be wide enough for some of these new battery operated trikes?
That is an ADA compliant size.
Right, but some of
but
the
I will
trikes
address.
they're pretty wide, some of them. And number two is I'm one of those back gate users, and
I know.
I'm really not up to providing this gate, because you're really putting your life on the line when you're going out there on a bike. So I'm more than willing to change my tactics and just going out the front gate and riding the sidewalks. I kind of figure putting a pedestrian back gate, or a pedestrian and a bicycle gate out there for an area that has no sidewalks. I just feel that we're opening up.
Well, and lighting, I mean.
So yeah, I'm kind of agreeing with Joni that we need to look at this a lot more, the back gate situation.
Okay, good comments. Anyone else? So we can definitely change this. I just need to know which way we're going. I have two people that have specifically expressed that we should just do the front at this time. How about everyone else?
I'm kind of in agreement with doing the front also.
Okay.
How it goes?
So let's work with just the front at this time and spend some more time figuring out if it makes sense to put in a back.
Okay, and I have one question I would like to clarify since Tim brought up the 4-foot, which is what our front gate currently is. Should we look at, I will speak with the contractor to see if we need to go wider than that, but that would be some additional cost for a new gate if it does
I
need to be
think it
wider.
makes sense to do that if there are trikes that are larger than 4 feet now in the back end.
If you go much wider, they'll be trying to get golf carts through there.
That's
where
what I was
that's
just
fit
going
up.
to say.
That's true.
Then you'll have them taking out the fence on the golf cart.
I think we stick with the ADA requirements on that. I think if you make it a wide enough for golf carts and utility elements to go through there, lawnmowers, I'm just thinking of if you put a 6-foot gate in there, then the lawn crew is gonna see that that's an easier option.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I didn't bring it up for golf carts, whatnot, but what happens to the person that has that 3-wheeler that is wider than the present gate? Where are they going to go?
Do we know how wide they are? Is that
Never
something we'll
measured
need?
one.
I think probably you can check with the bicycle shop up the street and find out what their width is to know.
Because it is a point, if they're not able to successfully go through the vehicle gates, or specifically through the exit gates, and then we don't have another path for them to get out safely, then we
We have an
would.
issue, yes.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
will look at what the standard width is of a 3-wheel of a trike.
Okay, so we have this to be reworked a little bit, possibly, and then brought back, but we are only looking at modifying the front for the bikes. All right, so that will be coming back. That will be coming back for a vote at the next meeting, yes. Okay, let's see, where am I at here? Okay, we're at 15, which is the ACC rule change to 12 and 33. So you have it in front of you. I think we have the whole ACC here. Yeah. Document. No. 2, 3. No, we just have just what changed. We only have the changes. So at the first page, it just shows that we're reviewing it today. Second page, there is no change. Third page is number 12. And who made this change? Was this coming from you, Tim? Why don't you walk us through it?
Well, it came from myself and the ACC committee, and it's just changing the wording in there, so we're always in compliant with the ULDC that the city operates off now. So whenever they make a change on us and don't notify us, like they always do, we don't have to come back to the board to make that change. That's all that's about. And the 50% that is in ours, they go by 80% on the impervious. So they're counting concrete driveways where currently right now the county doesn't count that. So that's why we were at the 50%, if everybody understands that.
Why don't you go through that one more time so that we have people that understand what, because we may have people listening that don't quite
So
understand.
right now, we're requiring that we only allow 50% usage of our lot. That's including structures. Does not include your concrete driveway. Going to the 80% like the city, that includes all structures, your concrete, all that type of impervious type stuff.
Very good. I hope that clears it up for anyone who may have questions. All right. Any other discussion points on number 12 here? Okay, the next change, we're going to move on, is number 33. Again, Tim, walk us through it.
Okay, this comes from a lot of discussion with our residents, and really, phase one is really restricted on their usage of their property. And I feel we've kind of, in the past, we put in a lot of over-regulations and trying to get this park freed up so we are having new, or people really looking and interested in our park. So as you know, Sean, over on your street there, you guys in the back are really restricted on what you can use. We actually have a lot in here that I've been personally involved in that they only have a 5-foot rear setback. That's how it was built back in '71. So they actually have no room by our rules to put an unattached shed. This actually would open up your personal property so you can put a shed on your property as long as it's within your setbacks and you don't want to put it out front. This will allow you to use your property. That's what this one's about. And like I said, we've done many roundtable discussions at our ACC meetings, and these are where these ideas are coming out of.
So if the setback on the back side of your lot is still at the normal setback, which is what, 10 feet?
Right now it's 10 feet. As long as you fall within your setbacks, you can use your property. You know, we're talking sheds here.
Yeah. Okay. So your shed itself, if you put it on your back side of your property, you still have to have 10 feet from the shed to the property line.
Correct.
Okay.
Nothing
we're not
changes.
changing that.
Yeah, nothing changes on the setbacks.
Okay.
The main change is the 192 square feet.
Correct. That's
Side.
another change, and nobody in this park can tell you who or why that number was pulled out of the air.
Is there a reason why you're eliminating it?
If you have the room, why can't you use it? There is no rhyme or reason, but there is also no rhyme or reason that we can find why it was chosen to restrict people to 192 square foot shed. Geez, no pushback. This is trying to bring this park up into the 21st century. I keep saying that. It's my favorite thing to say. But it's also maybe could bring in some more potential buyers.
For number 2, where we're removing that, that size limit, are we still saying that the shed itself has to be on the back side of the home, or could it be on the side of it?
It can be anywhere except out front.
Okay.
And that's also a city requirement.
I still don't agree with taking the 192 square feet away, because then you're going to have buildings larger than needed and you see vehicles in them.
Vicki, did you have a comment? Go ahead. You're part of this.
Well, they still have to have the space when I'm looking at the discussion to eliminate the maximum size of 192 square feet. There may be some properties that can only have the 192 some odd square feet, but some that could have more, but they still have to meet. There's nothing that's taking away the requirements that the city has, because it has to be permitted regardless. So they have to be able to meet those city requirements as well. So that's going to dictate whatever whatever size shed that they'll be able to put in. And I do see that you're keeping in a minimum of 6 inches away from the home, but taking out the between 6 inches and 24 inches. So I'm not sure what the 24 inches was about either.
Do we need to worry at all about the height of a shed? Or do we have?
You have that sheet there in front of you that gives you the height restrictions.
Okay, maybe you can talk us through this sheet, because there's a lot of information here. How do we read this?
It's highlighted under the MH manufactured homes.
Okay, so if I'm looking at this, setbacks on here say the front, okay, the side and the rear's 10, okay? So 25 and 10. We're,
Building height for mobile home
Oh, I
is
see.
35 feet.
It used to be 20.
Mhm. And that's because they are sitting higher, correct?
okay, so,
And then an accessory structure, when you're looking in note 1, residential accessory structures may be located in the side or rear yards only. Minimum setbacks of 10 feet rear, 20-foot waterfront, and 5-foot side apply to accessory structure 300 square feet or smaller. And then it says accessory structures larger than 300 square feet, other than, it, defines what are the exceptions, which are swimming pool, screen, enclosures, tennis courts, shall maintain the same required setbacks as the primary structure. Non-resident accessory structures may be located in any yard and must meet the primary structure setbacks.
but
So I don't,
to me, building height of 35 feet is pretty tall for a shed. Doesn't anyone else think that? I mean, 35 feet high, that's
Depends how
like a
many stories you're
two-story
gonna put in, yeah.
or more. A shed size.
Mother-in-law residence above.
I mean, I like what you're doing, Tim. I think we do need to make changes here, but I think we also need to be careful that we're not really opening this up to some craziness. If I see a home, a standard home in phase 1 or phase 2, and it's built in the 70s, and they have space in the back, and you can, from the road, you can see the shed in the backyard towering above the house itself. That's going to look odd. Does anyone else think that's going to look odd? I just think.
Definitely takes appearance away from the aesthetic appearance.
We already have homes that are towering over the older homes.
I'm not talking about a home. I'm talking about a shed. A shed is different than the home itself. And I know the home, that we have all the rules and regulations for the home. And the 35 feet on this list is for the home itself. We're talking about an extra, building called a shed out in the backyard or on the side yard that could also tower that same height, which could overcome the height of the home itself in a lot of cases within our park.
Could we just add that it doesn't exceed the height of the home? Because the new ones coming in, their sheds are much lower than, you know what I mean? Because of the steps going in.
Yeah.
I just don't know of any builders around that build two-story. I mean, that's big. I think we could just solve it by saying it can't exceed the height of the current structure.
for the current home.
That's a possibility. That answers, I mean, that settle that issue. Any other comments?
Why are we taking out the detached shed must be parallel to the coach? Why are we taking that out?
Because there's a lot of them already in here that don't meet that requirement to begin with.
I believe at one time that's why it was put in there.
Yep.
Well, once again, this is coming from the resident. Everybody might think it's coming from me. It is not. It's coming from the committee that we have many discussion with. One of them sitting here now. And we've had, I've asked multiple people to come speak at these meetings, and they won't.
We have Jim here.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Jim, I didn't notice you were there.
Oh.
Go ahead.
You guys have first discussion. I don't have a problem waiting. Go ahead.
Well,
Well,
maybe you will help us. Go ahead.
Well, all I was going to say was, I agree with Tim. This needs to be changed. I don't agree with everything that he's proposing, but on my place in phase 1,
Oh, Jim Oliver, 6566 Greenview Court, I'm sorry. My place in Phase 1, I had an 8-foot by 10-foot shed go behind my house that I had to get a variance, 6 by 8 shed go behind my house. I had to get a variance to put in a 48 square foot shed because I only have 14 feet behind my house. But I also have 35 feet of common ground that could never be used for anything. There's a pine tree right in the middle of it. All that being said, a variance to put something on my property, I still have, you gotta remember, it's only 8 feet wide, but it's got, at that time, 2 feet off the house, so it sticks out 10 feet. I've only got 4 feet of property behind that shed, and then another 35 feet of common ground, and I had to get a variance to have a shed put on my property. So I'm not worried about, excuse me, the 192 square feet, but there's a lot of places in Phase 1 that can't even have what I have without a variance. It shouldn't have to have a variance. It's on my property. There's nothing around it. It doesn't impede the lawn mowers. It doesn't impede bushes, nothing. And there's people now that don't have sheds because they can't fit it on their property without a variance. So that does need to be changed. But you still have to look at the aesthetics. You can't have a 35-foot shed. Our houses can't be that tall unless it's because of flood. You can't have a 2-story house.
Right.
So you shouldn't be able to have a 2-story shed.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
I agree with, but even with the changes that we have here proposed, in your case, as well as my case, for my house right now, I haven't even brought something forward because I don't have I know I don't have the 10 feet. And I didn't even think of bringing it forward to try to get a variance on it. But, and I have the same issue. I have a swale behind me, so it's all common ground. There's nothing behind me except common area. But even saying that, that wouldn't fix this. You and I would still need a variance because we haven't changed. That's not being changed here, is to allow us to use our property up to or closer to that 10 feet. And that, again, is because of the city saying that they wouldn't allow when you went to get a, I mean, the variance would have to be approved by the city. Let's put it that way today. I know, but it should have been. It should be now because you have to have, for it to be built and brought in, it needs to have a permit. So you got lucky on that one, I guess. We have another comment here.
Toby Russell, 6870 Pleasant Court. That 192 square feet, that was put in to limit the sheds to 12 feet by 16 feet. Just for your information.
Thank you. Personally, I would like, this is my comment. I think we should leave it to the 192 at this point, and I think we also should maybe restrict the height, because right now, if we just go to what is said by the city, it could be up to 35 feet. I don't think we want that in our park. But it's up to the board. But, those two changes, I would be okay with as far as changing, leaving the 192 in here and adding a line that says we're restricting it to whatever the height, at the very least, the height of the home. Anyone else? I need a consensus here to move forward. I got a couple people saying yes.
I agree with the 192 staying in.
Okay. So
I agree that we should not exceed the height of the home.
Yes. That's part two.
okay, so if we could have those two things changed on this, is everyone okay with bringing this back? for a vote at our next meeting. All right, so Vicky and Tim, if you can make those changes, we can bring this back. Thank you. Okay. Now the moment everyone's been waiting for. We're going to talk about the pavilion. We have in front of you the results of the quotes, the RFP bids that came in. And we have a little table here that was created, which is wonderful to help us make some decisions. I want to open this up for discussion. I have lots of comments and lots of things I would like to say, but I usually talk too much. My wife tells me that after every meeting. So I'm not going to talk first. I'm going to let the rest of the board talk about this. And then if you don't cover what I have in mind, then I may make a couple comments at the end. So I'm opening up for discussion. Please do not, this is a big deal. This is a big deal for the park. It's something we've been wanting to do for a long time, but we want to do it right. I don't want to skip, I don't want to pass over things or make the decision too quickly. This is money that has been donated to our park, and in some cases we might have to ask for more donations. And so I want to make sure that the board spends the needed time on this. I will say that the committee did a great job on putting together the RFP. It came to the board agreed with what was stated. The sad part about that whole process is that once the RFP went out, it's amazing what you get back. Much of what we got back does not follow what our RFP asked for, and it's just sad because it makes our job much harder. The committee's job harder, it makes the board's job harder. With that being said, let's open it up for the discussion on from the board itself.
Did they all come? Were the bids all sealed when they came back? In envelopes sealed? Well, were they?
Would you like for me?
Because I mean, that's,
yes, please.
Isn't
They
that,
came in to me.
isn't that the law? They have to be a rule, a law.
No, it's not a law.
Oh, they don't.
It's just what we put in our RFP as a request,
Oh, so they
our
don't have to come in-
requirement.
They don't have to come in a sealed envelope.
Not by law, but we did put it in our RFP as a requirement.
So you did put it in there, so they were to come back like that.
Yes, ma'am. So the answer to your question is the sealed bid that I received was from RFH, and the others either came through email, and there was another one, Georgia Southern, that was delivered to me in an envelope, but it was not an official seal delivered by that company.
Just looking at the details, and
Speak up, please.
One concern I had was Carolina carports. It looks like they have a continuous base rail, and I'm afraid that could be a tripping hazard.
And I want to clarify with Carolina Carports is that they are the manufacturer, and their distributor that you will see in all the documentation and on the summary page is Discovery Buildings, just to clarify that. And then,
In regards to the rail, in my conversations with them in the past, that can be taken out. Will be taken out.
And my biggest question is that in our RFP, we requested anchorage points involved in the concrete. And the only one I seen come back with that was RFH. And I think that's a big thing, because if we're putting up a large structure like that, we are building a steel parachute that could be taken off in a hurricane. And I am very concerned about the park's property and the homeowner's property of this happening. So I don't believe any of the other bids followed that procedure with the RFP, except for RFH.
I would like to invite Merlin, the chair of the Pavilion Committee, hopefully not putting you on the spot, to just be sure that the questions that the board is having can be answered, anything that you need to share with them, Merlin. The committee's done a lot of work on this.
I too had my Merlin Hopkins, 6702 Hykena. I had the same concerns that the board had, that, and quite honestly, I don't see the details in the concrete bids that I would like to see on paper. I've heard Bob has done a great deal of work on this, and I appreciate him greatly for all he's done. And Toby's done a great deal of work on this, and I appreciate what they have done. But what I'm missing when I read these things is I don't see the detail in there. I want to know, other than somebody told me that this is going to be the way it is, that indeed it's in the contract language, and we can actually, I wouldn't sign a thing until it was in writing as to what these people are telling us they're going to do. I appreciate RFH. Thanks to them, we kind of know what the total cost of the package will be. Other than them, we really don't have that. And even looking at the document that you guys had up on the board here, I'm concerned, even myself, looking at the numbers and trying to figure out what does it mean. Does it include the permitting process? I don't see in any of the concrete bids where it's written in the contract that they will get this through the city process of getting it done. What I appreciated about the bid for RFH is that they are a general contractor. They are a local general contractor, and they know what goes on in the city and how to get things through the city, which was my concern personally, not necessarily the committee's concern. I'm not speaking for the committee when I say that. Also, if you thought that a building like RFH is proposing is more appropriate to our situation here as a board, I would direct us to go back and see if we can't get another bid or two of that type so that you can compare bids. You really don't have RFH any comparison for them. And so I think that would be important as well. So anyway, those are my concerns, and that's what I was asked about by you, are my concerns, okay?
Thank you, Merlin.
I have a comment. I believe those other contractors had the opportunity. They were given the RFP, if I'm not correct. They were, all right, then they had that opportunity to bid this contract. And they obviously didn't take us seriously and submit complete bids. RFH is the only one that submitted a complete bid.
We also had one contractor that refused to give a bid because we didn't have engineering drawings for the concrete.
Well, that was one of my big concerns when I looked at the two concretes that we had. There's nothing in there that states that they can support the structure of the building that we're trying to put on it. And the support is not in them for the building itself either. The support for the columns into the ground is not stated in there. It's sufficient from what I think we would need, and I'm not a builder, but some of this is, there's some common sense in this. So, and the other thing I will state about one of the bids didn't even give the what's it called, the strength of the concrete that we requested was not even in the bid. It was, instead of 3,000 PSI or whatever, it was it was, I mean, instead of 4,000 was what we requested, we only got a bid back of 3,000. So in that respect, that bid should be thrown out, just on that alone. And I agree, in hindsight, when we look at this, if we didn't have a bid like RFH, we would not really, because we didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. I mean, some people in here know, but some of the stuff. But as a whole, maybe we should have put out the RFP saying to only general contractors who could supply us with a full bid on the whole thing. Because without that, you don't know what the permitting is going to cost. You don't, with these other two, we do not know what, they don't have the concrete in here, so we don't know what the cost of the concrete. We don't have engineering background in here included, so we don't know if the concrete would support the structure they're proposing. And we don't have the tie-ins to the ground to support hurricane structure. And so, and the permitting, going through all this through the city. So it's very hard. We have a lot of apples and oranges here. It's very hard to compare these based on that. With that said, let's
I do have one more
Okay.
before we go there.
All right.
On the RFH concrete, they list a 48 by 48 by 48 footers. I know they're not going to put something in 4 foot deep.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they
4
are.
foot deep.
Yes, they are.
That
That is what they're proposing.
that comes from the engineering company that RFH works with.
And that's based on the structure. And then they also provided, and I have the email that you all should have in your, as an addition to your packet, because the RFH makes reference on their estimate to the FBC 2023 8th edition. I asked what that is. And so he clarified that in an email, which is the Florida Building Codes 2023, the year 2023, 8th edition. And in there, in this email, he does define this, and I don't know if you want me to read any of this out loud, but certainly make sure, and it does specify in a summary what that code is and what it means for generally for Florida, but specifically in Northport and the Sarasota area as it relates to wind loads and the building structure that he is proposing.
We don't have to worry about that blowing away.
So for the Northport, Sarasota area, the pavilion is safely within the 140 to 150 mile per hour design range and is not required to be designed for 170 mile per hour wind speed. At 170 mile per hour design, a 170 mile per hour design would only be applicable in higher risk zones such as South Florida or the Florida Keys, or in cases involving special risk category structures such as hospitals or essential facilities, or highly unusual site conditions which do not apply to this project. And then it has some more above that, some more detail to that Florida building code, and specifically Northport and Sarasota area.
Just so our audience is clear on what we're reading here, and what Rick just specified, is we're talking about a 4 foot cube of cement under each of the columns. Is it all the way around? Oh, all the way around for support of the structure itself, and how far do the columns, how are they supported going through the structure or the concrete? Are they embedded?
Yes.
They are
Okay.
embedded, so they are embedded J-bolt post anchors in the footers.
Okay, so we have, even if something blew off the roof of that structure, those posts are not going anywhere as far as the main column going through. But hopefully none of that would happen. So that's just one observation.
Concrete cabinet, 48 by 48 by 48 footers. I take that to mean half the post. That's exactly what it means.
That's what I thought too when I read it. I didn't read it as all the way around. But even if it is at each,
Well, there's
yeah,
eight.
even if it is at each of the posts, that's a huge anchor at each post on both sides. So you're going to have 8 of those cubes. And so, because we have 4 posts on each side, and those posts are
says 8.
steel structured all the way from one post side all the way over to the other. Anyways, let's.
And it does say 8 on their concrete proposal.
Yeah. So let's get more comments, please.
Okay. Toby Russell, 6870 Pleasant Court. I was the one that submitted the bid for Georgia Southern Steel in a sealed envelope as a representative of them, which they gave me permission to do. In that envelope was their bid. Also, there was their license and the footprint. So they did have the location of the posts. The other thing with Southern Georgia Steel, I think they're the only one that has a 2-phase proposal. The first phase was the building itself that we have, which was the original. The second phase of this would be enclosing the first 20 feet closest to the shuffleboard and extending the other 20 feet beyond it. And the building is designed to do that very easily. And this extra 20 feet on the other end has been measured out so that it will not impact any of the trees. I have dealt with them, let's see, back with Ian, I designed my own carport and went with them through Crossroads Sheds. I now deal directly with the company, and I've also designed 2 other ones for here. And I've worked over a year working with them to design this one. They do, as far as the cement goes, one of the ones, and I can't remember, it wasn't Paradise, it was the other one, is going around the whole outside with a footing and not just separate footings. They're doing the whole outside. And that's why we chose that one as our one that we would propose, as well as Southern Georgia Steel. If there's any questions for them, I can do my best to answer them if you have questions as a board.
Okay, I think what I'm hearing, go ahead. You spit it.
So Paradise Concrete was the concrete company that the committee had a consensus to move forward. And I do see where you're saying, Toby, that in their estimate, they have 12-inch footers to be used around the entire pad.
Right. I thought it was the other one. The one that we chose has the asterisks on it, on the...
No, those are just notes.
okay.
They only proposed 3,000 PSI versus 4.
Right. Okay,
And
it was Paradise.
And then we were noting also that Georgia Southern is using, they're out of Georgia, so they are using a Florida licensed contractor called Clay General Contractors, which is
Yeah,
the
there's a
other
general
note that you
contractor
see.
that they do use for permitting.
Correct. But yes, so Paradise, just for correction, Paradise is using, or proposing 12-inch footers to be used around the entire pad.
Right.
We just want to make sure that this pavilion doesn't become a parachute and high winds that can go up underneath, up underneath that structure. So that's, one of the concerns, of course, in the area that we live in.
According to Northport, it was 100 to 150. They are designing to 170, so. And I can say that my carport will not move.
Well, I understand. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you, Toby, for the work you put into this. So what we're discussing here has no bearing on that and the work that you put into that, working with that company. But saying that, as a board, we need to do make a decision on what is best for the common grounds.
Right.
Because
I
what you're
understand
talking
that.
about is a smaller structure, a carport, on a individual residence lot.
Right.
Totally different than a 50 by 60 on common ground. And I just, and so my biggest red flag with Georgia Southern was if they are working with a general contractor in Florida, in the area, why did they not include the concrete, specify that they would, that concrete would support that structure, as well as deal with the permitting and get it all in the package if they're working with a general contractor to begin with?
Basically, because RFH doesn't do all their own concrete. They subcontract.
Right, and I'm saying that.
And
I'm saying
right,
that.
yeah.
If you're a general contractor, you're taking into work of subcontractors
Right.
to do the work.
Then why did we ask for bids for concrete and bids for buildings? Our RFH said we wanted bids for buildings, we wanted bids for concrete, and now we've got another one, we want bids for electrical. They are separate.
So the structural had an option for concrete that would allow a company to be able to bid both the structure and the concrete, or to allow and open up only a concrete if we only got structure bids. So it gave some more flexibility to the committee in which they could look at these different bids instead of being only tied into a company, in case we may not have had enough general contractors, may not have gotten the 3 general contractors to bid. So it was just to allow that
I
flexibility.
guess one other comment, and I already mentioned it once, but in hindsight, if I knew back then what I know now, based on what RFH provided us, the information they provided us, I would have pushed for the board to really go after general contractors to put this in, so that we had something to compare and had the whole project, so we would understand the cost of the whole project, because there's so much missing here on these other bids costs that we do not know, and we don't know how well they're going to fit together, and without a general contractor putting that in and including all that, we don't know how they're going to work together. Right now, if we went with Georgia Southern or Discovery Buildings, they could point fingers at each other. They could say, well, that's the problem of the concrete person. That's the problem of the building person. That's the problem of the permits weren't correct, or we're not going to do permits. You're going to have to find that yourself. There's just so many outlying questions I have right now based on what we've been given.
The sad part about this is the one that refused to give us a bid, he did have a construction company to work with, and when he dropped out of it because we wouldn't send him engineering drawings, I never heard nothing more out of either one of them.
Well, the thing is here, we expect them to provide the engineering drawings, or at least bid on it like they did here. We have a bid here for engineering drawings, so it's going to be drawn up. But without us spending the money up front for the engineering, which we don't want to do, they would have to include that. So even them, they would have to come forward with that as part of the bid.
And RFH also does have a licensed business that is RFH Concrete. Now, do they sub out people to actually do the concrete? But they are, under their business is RFH Concrete, and they did provide me all their business information on that part of their company.
Also, engineering drawings for Georgia Steel are 500. What are they for RFH? 2250, okay. All right.
All right. Thank you, Toby. Appreciate that. Okay, we have another comment here.
Ernie Mitchell, 6403 Ikena. The comments I have, unfortunately, I wasn't able to meet with the committee at the last meeting, and I apologize for that. Otherwise, I would have given him more comments at the time. The points that I want to make are directly related to risk and the type of structure that the board and the park wants. When I looked at the structures that one of the trustees shared with me yesterday, what I saw was one was giving us a structural building outlined with what I call the correct engineering. The correct engineering deals with the Florida Building Code, which was quoted earlier, and it deals not only with wind load, but uplift, so that the piers that they're talking about deals with the uplift, and the anchors that are embedded deal with that structure being kept in place for uplift. So I'm all concerned about risk for the park, risk for pricing, risk for timing. Those are the three risks that any contractor of any sort would want to look at. And as an owner, you want to look at those three things: timing, price, and risk to the public, okay? When I looked at it, you're right, somebody said earlier, that's the only complete bid our RHF gave that had all the details that were required in the RFP. When I looked at it, I said, well, that's great, because as someone said earlier, that gives us a figure that says for a structure that is substantially different than the other two bidders provided, we've got something that we know what the cost is. And it's a substantial structure. It's made out of steel. It's a steel frame, I-beam structure that's very well anchored. The other ones, at least one, told us that they're going to use drilled-in anchors. And drilled-in anchors don't cut it. I'm sorry. I've used epoxy anchors before, and for a structure of this magnitude, that's not going to cut it. And any contractor that says that it will is not looking at the code. In addition to that, when I looked at the RHF, I'm here saying that we got something positive here, not something negative. So for the board's purposes, and I've looked at the timing of this, I've said to myself, well, if the board doesn't move forward now, when are they going to move forward, and when will the structure actually happen? So I would propose to the board that they consider that a proposal like RHF, which that you've got proposal as a complete package, you could phase that in and still be within the budget that the men's club and the donations that have been given, you still do it. When I looked at it, I said, okay, phase one, what's phase one? Phase one is the drawings, the permit, and the earthworks and concrete. That's phase one. Do you have the money for that? Look at the RHF pricing, and if I just did it off the top of my head, I rounded everything up, at the most, you're looking at $48,000. Now, I know that the budget supports that. That gets the job off the ground and moving, okay? I think everybody here wants to see a structure that's substantial, that represents the park well, that protects the park, reduces the risk, and is a structural element, not a carport, not something that's light. This structure is major. So, okay, so it's more money, but what do we want? That's something that the board has to figure out themselves. I'm not going to tell you, but if I was building something for the park, that's what I would do. The next part of that is the structural fabrication and delivery of the structure. Okay, that's phase two. And if you look at RHF's bid, that part's 50 grand. I mean, you can get it on site for 50 grand, all right? The only thing that's left, so the budget now is about 150, or excuse me, the funding is about $115,000. If you're looking at the funding for this project at $115,000, you can certainly get phase one and phase two of this thing off and running. And I would propose to the board that they consider consider approving the project to cost $150,000 today, just so you could get the additional details from the other bidders if you want, or you move forward with RHF and you've got funding to be able to do that, to get the drawing started, to get the permitting started, and, you know, ultimately get started. That timetable, by the way, for the phase one is about 3 months. I hope everybody understands that, because you don't know what the permitting time is. You have to develop the drawings. And once you get that, then you can start doing earthworks and concrete. So you're at least 3 months out, okay? That's phase one. Phase two, they can start when they know that they've got the design and the approval, they can start the fabrication of the structure. They can start that anytime during the first phase. But I predict that they won't start it until about 2 to 3 weeks before they've got everything done on site. So they'll start that, they'll have the fabrication. Now that puts another month and a half into the schedule. That makes it 4.5 months from now. And if you include the last part of this, which is the erection, which goes very quickly in these structures, you're probably looking at the most, including cleanup, another month. So in my opinion, you're not going to get this structure until September at the earliest, complete, at the earliest. And that's only if the board considers the approval of the funding today, at the latest, at the next meeting, because that's going to delay it another month. And then if you miss that window on approving something, you're off till next year. So I would ask you to consider allowing the committee to move ahead with the proposal, to understand that it's going to cost $150,000, understand that they've got $115,000 in the bank, and understand that there are clubs here that I would encourage to donate to this effort. And I know that the clubs have money. I know that they've got earmarks for some of that money. But I would encourage them, since this is a public access facility that's going to benefit the park, if we get the right structure, that if they could donate to this effort, you know, I'm considering, I will donate myself, but I'm considering that the way I understand the budgets are for these two groups, you've got money there to donate, say $10,000 each. If you did that, if the clubs were able to do that, and I'm asking that they consider it, I'm not asking them to do it, I'm asking them to consider it. If they can donate $10,000 apiece, then you're only looking at $15,000 left.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
He's exceeded his 3 minutes.
Yeah.
My comment to that, the club's donating. This project was started with the understanding that there was no money from the residents coming. If you ask the clubs for money, that's resident money going into this pavilion.
I disagree, Bob. I have to disagree with that. What we had stated at the beginning was that there would be no park money, and that meant, and we clarified that, no operational money coming to that, or none of our money that we set aside for projects going to it. We never stipulated anything about the clubs giving to that. And it doesn't even make sense to try to do that, because the clubs, that's the club money. They can decide whether or not they want to do it. And if they don't want to do it, that's fine. But the board is not stipulating that they can't do that, as far as I'm concerned, when we talked about this. So that's just one point. Secondly, we need to take a break and then come back to this.
All right.
Because we've been over an hour, and we need a quick break. And then we'll come back and talk more about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arnie.
Sean, I'm going to have to leave. I have another commitment.
Okay. to continue. Everyone, please take a seat. We have all of our board members are here except for Don, who had to leave. And we have another board member who has to leave by noon. So I want to sort of wrap up this discussion here. We've heard a lot. If you have something very important to say, I want to hear it. So go ahead, John. Turn on.
John Summersign, 6882 Ikena Drive. Here's what I have to say. This particular addition to our park is on common ground. So whatever is developed there needs to be under the umbrella and communication with our district manager. So in developing that, just like Ernie had talked about, I would like to see us have some form of spreadsheet working with the district manager on all the benchmark items. I think that could be put together in a very short period of time, and that would be out there and posted. Second of all, before coming into this meeting, I was told numerous times, John, you as a men's club member, you as a men's club member cannot donate to this outreach. You cannot donate to this building. And I said, why? I don't understand this. The capital expenditures we've had in the past, whether it be concrete, fences, anything like that, we've donated to the park. Why is this changing? I don't understand that concept. Ernie had talked about a contribution. I cannot guarantee a contribution from the men's club. That's up to the men's club. I hope that they really consider it, and I hope that that could be an addition if they do vote and agree to it. My point more than anything else is just one thing. Get on board with what is agreed to. I am so tired of people not getting on board as a total group. Whatever is decided, that everybody in this room, including myself, put whatever sweat and tears are involved and get this thing moving. Get on board. There will be mistakes. There's going to be things where people will come back later and they'll say, it could have or it should have, and what if? We will hear this consistently. So my point more than anything else, I will like to take this to our trustees and our board with our members clubs. Whatever's decided, I want to make sure that we get on board as a park and let's move forward. That spreadsheet is so important. If there's anything I can do with working with Vicki or whatever, we get timelines, benchmarks, and a spreadsheet, and we move forward out of here. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. With that being said, I want to sort of close up this topic, and there's a couple thoughts, and the board obviously can add if I'm missing something. I think what I'm hearing from the board and from all the comments is that we would like, based on what we've been given, we would like to go with, the board would like to go with RFH. With that being said, I think we have to specify some direction with that to our committee and our pavilion committee. And right now we have 115,000. Okay, which means that if we were to go with this, we have to raise at least another 35,000. Okay, and even a little bit more than that to cover the electrical. I think what we would ask the committee to do is take the information that we currently have from RFH, and we would start publishing that, especially the drawings. Of course, we're going to get some engineering drawings that's going to have to come for this, but what we would approve is for the committee to spend up to that 115,000, and do it in phases, just like was suggested. We do the concrete and the work with RFH, and we say this is how much is approved, so let's do it in phases. Split the phases out as it was suggested, and then start a drive within the park for donations to make up that 35,000. And I'm hoping that we can quickly raise that money, because I know a large number, when we first put this together, a large number of people wanted to donate. And if we can do that, I think we can, as a park, we can raise the money in a rather quick form.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
What did you say for the cost for RFH?
I said we would, well, this is not what the board would suggest. What we're doing here is giving our feedback back to the committee at this time. We're not voting on anything.
I guess my question is, are you basing it on the 148,000 or the 104,000 revised?
The revised, I see the revised for RFH was $148,581 total. So what I'm saying is,
I have on the back of this sheet here, I have right here 104,800.
oh, that's just the structure. That's the cost of the structure itself. Yeah, there was 2 sheets involved. I'm sorry. Yes, the first sheet is the structure. It's the pavilion proposal, and the other was the concrete proposal, which was another 43.7. So you add those together. But with that being said, we would work with RFH. The committee would work with RFH and understand. They would have to understand that we're approving to move forward. Well, in phases. And I would like to draw up the phases for our next meeting, because this does have to be approved by the board at the regular meeting. So I want to make that clear, because I sort of said we would. But with that, we should have the phases written up, and RFH would agree to those phases. We would approve, obviously, the only thing we can approve at this point is the $115,000 to be spent until the other $35,000 is raised. And again, we might have to raise a little more than that. Maybe we raise 140 or 145. I mean, we go 35 to 40 or 45, sorry, 45,000 at the tops. That would give us $10,000 for the electrical, which I doubt's gonna be anywhere near that. But anyways, we would also work with RFH, which is the next item we're gonna talk about, but we would talk to them about the electrical and have them include the electrical in their bid and find out how much that was and bring that back to our meeting. So we understand at the regular meeting what the electrical is going to cost us, and have the same contractor do all the work, and so they can't point fingers at anyone else. If the board is agreeable to that, that's what we would move forward with, and we would approve this at our next meeting.
Question.
Yes.
Would you, for the next meeting, like to have the president of the company here to answer any more questions?
That would be wonderful. That would be great. And also, if we could get, if they would be willing, I know we have a couple of structural design here, and I know they're rough for what they've given us, but maybe they could give us something a little, since we're starting to work them a little more detail on just the pictorial, so that we could start publishing that to our residents as far as trying to do the donation drive for this.
Sure, and we could even go ahead and have them set up what would be the proposed contract that would define the phases and the dollar amounts with those phases, as well as the timing of those phases.
That would be great.
As far as electrical, we need to get more specific on the light fixtures, looms, and types we want.
Yes, yes. And that might take some time. So the one nice thing is that we don't have to have that figured out at our next meeting. The electrical, as long as they have the plumbing or whatever it takes to put the electrical in, that the pricing of that and the actual equipment or light fixtures we're going to use and all that could come out of it after. I mean, if they can put it all together, great. But if they can't, we do have a little more timing on that. I think, as a board, do you agree that that's one thing that, because we're talking about in phases, and the concrete's coming first, and the structure's coming next, and the installation, electrical would be after. Anyways, we have another comment. Go ahead, Lois.
Oh, finish up.
That was it. That was it. I just want to, we want to decide on this so we can move forward to our next item.
Lois Langtree, Keena Court. When Ken gave the check to you for a pavilion, there was one thing that he wanted, and that was it would be built by the park residents because they were going to use it. And I knew he knew the 100,000 that he gave wouldn't build the structure, but would probably give it a good start. When you're talking about outside people putting money into it to get their names on it and everything else like that, I was so angry that, and upset over it, I said, do it without that, and I will give you personally another $50,000. A lot of people said you shouldn't do that. And things got out of hand all the way around the Taj Mahal, you know, design, etc. So I was asked by a number of residents to clarify that gift. I will give the $50,000 after the residents come together and give 50. I will match it with that. So you should have just a little under 200,000 if you get the residents to give 50, and I will match that. So it's, you know, gives you that override, because I know there were things that I never figured on, was the cost of engineering, there was the cost to getting permits, and all those things that you don't even think about.
Yes.
That
yes.
you've got to do. You know,
Well, that's very generous, and thank you so much. I have a request to ask you. If we can only raise 30,000 from the residents, would you be willing to pay 30,000?
yes.
Okay, so that's wonderful, because thank you so much.
I'll give, you know,
You'll match whatever up to
Whatever,
50,000.
up to 50,
Wonderful.
yes.
Thank you so much for that, because I think I don't think we're going to need another 100,000, but we're going to need another possibly 60. So thank you so much. Oh, and would that include any money donated by as far as raising money from our residents? Does it include any money raised through the clubs?
What they've already put in, and there have been people, you know, I don't know if it's 2,000 or 5,000 that's there. That gets to the point and that's all you ever get, I'll match that, yes.
I meant for clubs, say the H Park or the men's club donate some money, would you match that also?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
That'll be included
Okay, thank you.
in that.
Thank you. Now I really think that we'll be able to do this, guys. I really do. Thank you so much, Lois. Okay, so with that being said, we have it in the minutes. We know what we're going for our next meeting to be able to vote on, and we'll get that done.
Sean, can I say something?
You can, sure can.
We're very close to being over the hump here. And thank you very much, Lois. And thank you, Pavilion Committee, for all the time you put into it. So we're very close here. And I've talked to my wife and we're going to start out with a donation that we talked about. And I hope the people follow. And I think this will come to fruition.
Thank you so much. And I do want to say thank you so much to all those who have already donated. Thank you to George, Lois, and anyone else who's going to donate. Just thank you. And I want to say a final thank you to the Pavilion Committee. They've done a lot of work on this, and it's gone round and round and round, and there's been blood, sweat, and tears in this. And we would not be where we're at now if not for them, not for the work they put into us. This has been a learning process for all of us. This whole thing for the last year, over a year now, it's been a struggle and a learning process, and we're finally getting close. So I just want to thank them for the work that they've done. Thank you. That being said, we're going to move on. Oh, yes. Okay, except for the donations from the clubs, they'll tell us how much. But yes, donations are anonymous. We're not going to put plaques out there. It was never the intent to put a plaque on the pavilion and say who donated what. This way, it doesn't matter if you're donating $100, $5, $1,000, $10,000. We're all residents here, and we're all donating. So you go to the office, you can put in your money, your check to the office for that fund, and it's under the understanding that it's anonymous. Thank you for reminding me, Lois. Thank you so much. HP Pavilion Fund.
Well, put that in the memo section. It has to be made out to Holiday Park and Recreation District, but in the memo section, put Holiday Park Pavilion Fund, please.
Okay, with that, I want to move on real quick to the last item here, which is our bid. And again, I've already alluded to this. I think we should put this off for now until we have what we're working with RFH going forward, and we'll have this designed better. So I don't think we need to decide on the RFP for this at this point for the electrical. If you agree with that, fine. If not, we'll go through it.
Is there a problem with maybe seeing if our RFH could do the electrical end of it?
No, there's no problem with that. And if they can come back with that and give us the information by the next meeting, which is the 9th, that's wonderful.
Can I ask
Which they
one
can.
question on this bid from RFH? It includes eave troughs and downspouts, which is in the neighborhood of $3,400. The committee talked about this before. Do we want this because of the water create ditches, or do we just want it running off the eaves?
I think that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, with the downspouts though, it's still, the downspouts are still, if I understand it, hitting on concrete. So it's going to disperse it before it goes off the concrete into the lawns. And I guess if it starts to wash away, we deal with that when it happens. You know, I don't know. I mean, go ahead, Ernie.
Didn't require it. Some of the structures don't have anything yet. Be able to attach.
Okay. So that, I guess that would be something we could discuss again at the next meeting, but I think we're running out of time here. We also had, I want to note that Joni Anderson had to leave at 12:08. So we've lost another trustee. Again, if you're okay with moving the electrical to a future meeting, I would, if everyone's okay with that, we'll do that. So that won't be coming to our next meeting unless it comes in with the RFH bid or restructure contract. Okay, I've lost my, we have one supplemental, and it is, excuse me, I had it written down. You know, I have to do this at least once a meeting, lose my agenda. Tells me everything. Oh, here it is. No. Anyways, we had one item that I wanted to remind everyone is that our budget and assessment public hearing will be held at our May meeting. It will be our May 7th meeting this year, and it will that will happen at 6 p.m. and then the regular meeting will follow that. And that's what we've already agreed to as of last year. So that's what we'll be doing. I just want to remind everyone of that. Okay, let's go on with trustee comments. Any other comments? Is it May 14th? See, I wondered that myself.
Yeah, May 14th.
See, I have it as the 7th on mine, but I could be wrong. Yeah, right? I guess we need to clear that up, clarify that, because we need to know whether it is the 7th or the 14th.
Well, if it's on the 7th, I may be able to make it, but if it's on the 14th, I'm not going to.
She's looking at.
I have it for, go back to the 7th. I have it on the calendar for May the 14th at 6 o'clock.
All right. So maybe we made that change last year, and I just put it on my calendar incorrectly. So it's the 14th. Okay. Enough said on that. It's the 14th. That's what we've publicized, and that's where it is, and that's what's been on our website.
And just to verify, it will be published in the newspaper. We have a requirement in our House bill to publish that hearing with our proposed, the assessment, our revenue, our operating expense is to be published in the newspaper 21 days before that hearing, at least 21 days.
And that might be one of the reasons why we moved it out also, because
would
we
be-
can't officially approve that as a board until the 9th.
It would be
Then it would be
closed.
publicized after that. Okay. Thank you for keeping us on track. And do we have a resident comment? A resident's comments, or trustees, anything else for trustees? None. Residents, anything else? Nothing here. Adjournment. Need a motion. We have a motion and support. Thank you, everyone. Long meeting. Thanks.